So today I'm going to make some lasagna. Right here I have about a pound of sweet Italian sausage, about a pound of hamburger, and over here I cut up half of a sweet Vidalia onion and then probably 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. Now you don't need this much garlic or onion. I just happen to like it a lot. Plus with these viruses and stuff going around, I believe they actually help a little bit, but I could be wrong anyways. So I'm going to toss in the garlic and the onion, throw it in the meat over here. I'm going to cook it real quick until it's cooked all the way through, and then we'll start adding some more ingredients to this. So now I'm going to start adding some ingredients. I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of sugar. Going to do about 12 ounces of tomato paste. Then we're going to do about 12 ounces of tomato sauce. .28 ounces of crushed tomato. I probably have about maybe 3 tablespoons of fresh basil. And then I probably have about 4 tablespoons, 5 tablespoons of parsley, fresh parsley. Then we're gonna add some pepper. Probably half teaspoon of that. A little salt. About another half teaspoon or so of that. Then we're gonna mix it up. And we're gonna let this simmer for about an hour and a half. A little before it's done, I'll start cooking the noodles for the lasagna. Oh, and also you have to add, almost forgot, a half cup of water. Just stir it up good. Then we'll put the cover on it and we'll let it simmer for an hour and a half. Now you're probably going to have a bunch of leftover sauce and meat. You can use that obviously for something else if you want. I tend to always have a fairly decent amount extra. So you could probably go a little bit lighter on some of the ingredients if you wanted to, but even eating the sauce plain is really good, or dipping bread into it, or whatever you may need. Maybe make some nice toasted bread and garlic bread or something and add a little bit of this sauce on top. That tastes really good too. So we'll cover this up. We're gonna let this simmer for an hour and a half, and then we'll start cooking some noodles and start putting this all together afterwards. So now I'm gonna start cooking the noodles. I'm gonna add 12, actually I'll probably throw in 14 just to have a couple extras in case a couple break or get stuck together. So I'm gonna throw in 14 lasagna noodles, and I'll add a little salt to the water, let those boil for about 8 minutes, and then we'll start putting this together. The sauce is almost done cooking, so we'll get these boiled up and then we'll start putting everything together. So the noodles are done cooking, so now I'm going to strain them, run some cold water over them, cool them down. Then we're going to start putting this lasagna together. So now we're going to start mixing up some ricotta cheese, 1 egg, and a little more parsley. So we're going to do about half of this since it's 32 ounces, so 16 ounces of ricotta. We're going to do an egg. Then we're going to add a little more parsley to it. A couple more tablespoons of that. Then we're going to mix it up. Mix this up nice. Once this is mixed up, we're going to start putting everything together. So now we're going to spread 1.5 cups of the meat sauce on the bottom of this pan. So we're just going to spread this out evenly. Basically so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, more or less.
Daddy! Daddy!
What?
I eat all.
Good job. My son's already eating the noodles.
Why won't you right here? Daddy! Daddy, why won't you right here?
Here, let me see your plate, hon. Thank you.
Why won't you right here?
So now I'm going to lay out some of the lasagna.
Daddy!
We're going to put out 6 pieces.
Why won't you right here?
Go ahead, give it to her.
Mommy? Go Edward! Go Edward! Mommy, I eat all.
So we have 6 pieces of noodles set down here now. And then we're going to add half of the ricotta mixture that we just did. Spread this out. So we got about half that sauce all spread nice and even over everything. So after you do that, you want to start putting your mozzarella slices on top of this. So I just bought a bunch of packages of the slices here. Go see Mama. So we'll start laying these out. Then after we put the mozzarella cheese on, we're gonna scoop in another 1.5 cups of the meat sauce. And just spread that out nice and evenly over the mozzarella. So this COVID-19 has definitely given me a lot of free time to cook extra meals, that's for sure. But I guess you gotta stay busy somehow. This is one of my favorite things to do, so figure why not do some cooking videos. So after you spoon out some of the meat sauce, you want to start sprinkling about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese on top. So I just like to spread some nice and even. I like to buy the more expensive Parmesan too. In my opinion, it tastes way better to get the aged Parmesan cheese that's not in one of those plastic bins or whatnot. You know, get a good bag of the expensive kind. Makes a big difference in my opinion. So after you sprinkle that cheese on top of it, then we want to start doing another layer with the noodles. So we're gonna put down 6 more of these noodles. Of course, my dog is sitting right under my legs. I think she thinks I'm making her dinner tonight. Right, Lola? Sorry, this isn't for you though. So 6 more slices. Okay, so now that we got those last 6 slices in, we're just gonna start doing this whole process over again. So now we're gonna put the rest of the ricotta cheese mixture on here. And before I started doing all this, I forgot to mention this, but I turned on the oven, so I'm letting that preheat to 375 degrees because that's what you're going to want it at before you put this in the oven. So get your oven preheated while you're doing all this. I'm going to save you from waiting. So this does take a little while to cook. This is probably about a 3-hour process from start to finish, so. But once you're done, it's definitely worth it. This is by far the best lasagna I've ever made anyways. I've tried a few different recipes and I really like this one. I actually found it online. I think it's called like the best lasagna ever, something like that. Couple little things I changed in it slightly. Like I like the fresh basil personally, and I don't like fennel seeds myself, but that's something you can add to it if you want to. I just don't really care for them, so I omit that seasoning from it. But other than that, I basically cook it almost to a T from the recipe that I found online. So we have that down there. We're going to put some more mozzarella cheese on here. So we have some more mozzarella there. Now we're going to put some more meat sauce down. And some more Parmesan, so another cup and a half. Then we do the same thing after we spread this. We're going to put some more Parmesan cheese down on top of this. Man, this lasagna is so good. I'm telling you, if you make this, you're not going to regret it. By far the best lasagna I've ever had in my life. If you ever eat the frozen stuff, man, you're going to wonder why you ever bought it after you try this. This is so good. So we got the meat sauce down. Now we're going to add a little more Parmesan. About a quarter cup it ends up being somewhere around there. I just sprinkle it on nice and evenly. Then we're going to top this with some more mozzarella here. Now when I do this top coat, I like to completely cover everything with this. So I'm going to take some pieces here and even throw them in the edges and sides just to fill this up. That way every little bit of this is covered up with cheese. Here. Give a little bit to the dog. She always likes cheese too. I don't think there's a dog that doesn't like cheese. Shove a couple little pieces down here. So now that's nicely covered up. I'm actually going to throw just a little Parmesan on top. I don't think you can have too much cheese when it comes to lasagna, so we got that on top there. And then it says, oh, cover it with tin foil. So we're gonna cover it with a non-stick tin foil. Or you can spray some tin foil if you don't have non-stick. I just heard the oven that just heated up, so we have this non-stick side down. So we're gonna cover it up good, and then what we're gonna do is, let's see, we're gonna bake it for 25 minutes, and then we're gonna remove the foil and bake for another 25 minutes, then let it cool for 15. So it's been 25 minutes. I just took it out of the oven. Now I took the tin foil cover off from it. We're gonna put it back in for another 25 minutes. So I just took this out of the oven. It cooked for another 25 minutes without the foil on top of it. And now I'm gonna let it sit for about 15-20 minutes. You can tell it's still boiling here a little bit, so it's pretty hot. But so far it's looking pretty darn good. So we'll let it sit, cool down for a little bit, then we'll cut into it and see how it looks.
Now,
So here's the lasagna all finished. Can't wait to cut into it and try it.